You know what's better than one 80s action movie? A whole damn day of them. That's right. I challenged myself to watch 12 legendary action films from the glorious, over-the-top, muscle-pumping, explosion-loving decade known as the 1980s. One full day, no skipping, no sleep. Just pure adrenaline. Let me take you through the ultimate 24-hour action movie marathon. Get ready for macho madness, impossible stunts, and mere one-liners done in Schwarzenegger soundboard.
Let's kick things off with a bang, literally. Die Hard isn't just an action film, it's the blueprint. Bruce Willis as John McClane gave us the reluctant hero stuck in the wrong place at the wrong time, and somehow he made bare feet into a symbol of masculinity. McClane isn't a superhero. He's a regular guy with a badge, a thinning hairline, and a very bad day. That vulnerability is what made this movie so iconic. Plus, he survives the whole thing in a bloody tank top. If that's not gritty realism, I don't know what is. The one-man versus a building setup is so clean and efficient it's been copied 100 times. But nobody does it like Nakatomi Plaza. Hans Gruber. Iconic. Alan Rickman gave us a villain with charm, arrogance, and a taste for chaos. The kind of guy who could rob you blind and still get invited to your dinner party. The yippee-ki-yay moment? Legendary. And don't forget, this was before action heroes had to be bodybuilders. Willis looked like your cousin Steve, except Steve never jumped off a rooftop with a fire hose. Add to that the clever dialogue, brilliant pacing, and unforgettable set pieces. The elevator shaft scene, the glass-shattered feet, the final rooftop showdown. And you've got a movie that doesn't just hold up, it defines the genre. It's not just an 80s action film, it's the 80s action film. And yes, it's a Christmas movie, fight me, preferably while crawling through an air duct. Now let's crank the testosterone to 1000. Predator is what happens when you drop a squad of jacked soldiers into a jungle and then add an alien with invisibility powers. Arnold Schwarzenegger is peak 80s here. The biceps, the cigar, the mud camouflage showdown. This is not cinema. This is war. And possibly a protein shake commercial. The film starts like a typical military rescue op, then suddenly turns into a sci-fi slasher movie, and somehow it works. You've got epic one-liners like, "If it bleeds, we can kill it," and possibly the most macho handshake in film history. Seriously, that handshake caused an earthquake in 3 separate dimensions. The jungle becomes a character in itself, claustrophobic, mysterious, and deadlier than your gym's sauna after leg day. What's brilliant is how Predator slowly strips down its characters, both literally and figuratively. One by one, the tough guys fall, until only Dutch remains. And then the movie changes again, into a primal showdown between man and beast. Schwarzenegger covered in mud, lighting a torch, setting traps like a jungle MacGyver, pure cinema, or a survivalist fever dream. This movie is all about escalation. Every 5 minutes it gets more intense, more dangerous, more insane. And somehow it never feels ridiculous. It's raw, relentless, and unforgettable. Like being punched in the face by freedom. Before Rambo was a walking war crime in later sequels, First Blood gave us a very different John Rambo. Haunted, quiet, broken. He's not trying to start a war. He just wants a sandwich and some peace. But nope. The sheriff picks a fight with a Green Beret. Bad idea. That's like poking a sleeping bear with a stick made of insults. What follows is part psychological thriller, part survival horror. Rambo uses the forest like a ninja, setting traps, crawling through mud, and sewing up his own wounds, like a man who's just done with everyone's nonsense. And while yes, there's action, the real power of the film is in its emotion. And the fact that he basically invents a Home Alone trap house in the middle of the woods. This is a story about a soldier discarded by the country he fought for. About PTSD before it was widely understood. About how pushing the wrong man can have explosive consequences. Stallone gives a restrained, powerful performance, especially in that heartbreaking final monologue. If you're not feeling feelings by the end, check your pulse, you might be a robot. Or the sheriff. The movie asks a simple but powerful question. What happens when a hero comes home and finds there's no home left for him? In 90 minutes, First Blood says more than most war epics ever do. And it sets the stage for a legend. A legend with a bandana and zero chill. Robocop isn't just ultra-violent, it's ultra-smart. This is satirical sci-fi action, a dystopian fever dream about corporations running the police and people turning into products. And in the middle of it, Murphy, a cop turned cyborg looking for justice, and maybe his humanity. Also, a guy who can't climb stairs, which is kind of tragic. The violence, brutal, the lines, quote-worthy. Dead or alive, you're coming with me. And the design of Robocop himself? Timeless. This movie has heart, blood, and brains. And a villain you love to hate. But what makes it really shine is how much it says underneath all the blood and explosions. Also, it makes you terrified of board meetings. It's a commentary on privatization, media overload, urban decay, and what it means to be human. Director Paul Verhoeven doesn't pull punches. One minute you're watching a shootout, the next you're watching a corporate boardroom nightmare. Somehow it all fits, like a bulletproof glove. And through it all, Peter Weller plays Robocop with a tragic mechanical grace, like Frankenstein's monster with a badge. It's stylish, savage, and smarter than it has any right to be. I'd buy that for $1 and maybe a backup charger. Let's talk buddy cop gold. Mel Gibson and Danny Glover have the chemistry of a bickering old couple and the trigger fingers of a SWAT team on espresso. Lethal Weapon took the genre, loaded it with emotion, and fired. And then reloaded. Twice. Gibson's character, Riggs, is unhinged. Like, might jump off a building just to make a point, unhinged. Glover's Murtaugh? Too old for this shot. And somehow, they're perfect together. The movie works because it's not just about solving a case. It's about two broken men finding a strange kind of balance in each other. It's therapy, but with more grenades. The action is great, the desert shootout, the brutal hand-to-hand fight, the Christmas tree lot chaos. But it's the characters that elevate it. You care about these guys. You laugh with them. You worry about them. You want to give them hugs and possibly a time machine. And when the final credits roll, you want more. It's funny, it's thrilling, and it has heart, something many imitators lack. Lethal Weapon didn't just launch a franchise, it set the gold standard and gave every cop duo since an impossibly high bar. This movie is so 80s, it hurts. In the best way. Schwarzenegger again, but this time he's a one-man army with a name like John Matrix. His daughter gets kidnapped, and within minutes, he's ripping off car seats and storming compounds with rocket launchers. Because why involve the authorities when you have biceps bigger than your average country? The plot? Thin as a protein shake. The body count? Sky high? The dialogue? Chef's kiss. I eat Green Berets for breakfast. Every scene is turned up to 11. He jumps off planes, uses circular saw blades as weapons, and throws bad guys off cliffs after delivering a pun. This isn't realism, it's wish fulfillment. If Die Hard is clever, Commando is pure, unfiltered chaos. It's like a video game where the cheat codes are always on. It's the kind of movie where you count the explosions like sheep, where subtlety goes to die. And somehow, that's the charm. No movie better captures the absurd, macho, guns-blazing energy of 80s action like this one. Schwarzenegger barely blinks. He doesn't need to. His presence is the special effect. And honestly, sometimes all you want is a man, a mission, and a million bullets. And maybe a one-liner about taking out the trash, literally. Let's roll into sci-fi territory, but keep the explosions coming. The Terminator is what happens when you combine time travel, killer robots, and a leather jacket. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a cyborg assassin sent back in time to eliminate one very unlucky waitress. Why? Because her unborn kid is going to lead a resistance. The solution? Terminate mom. It's like the world's most intense family planning session. Arnold barely speaks, and when he does, it's straight from the Church of Iconic Lines. I'll be back. Not excuse me or pardon my intrusion. Nope, just a promise. And when he comes back, he drives a car through a police station like it's a drive-through. He's unstoppable. He's terrifying. He's like your GPS with a shotgun and no patience. James Cameron gave us a gritty, nightmarish thrill ride. The movie has the vibe of a horror flick, wrapped in machine oil and 80s synth. It's dirty, it's relentless, and every moment feels like the ticking of a countdown. Linda Hamilton's transformation from average waitress to future mom of doom is just the cherry on top of this metal sundae. And in case it wasn't clear, robots are scary, especially when they don't blink, feel no pain, and look like a bodybuilder who eats barbed wire for breakfast. Welcome to the dark dystopian future where Manhattan is a giant prison, and Kurt Russell is the only man crazy enough to go in. Escape from New York introduces Snake Plissken, the eye-patched anti-hero who looks like he chews gravel for breakfast and flosses with barbed wire. The president has crash-landed in this urban hellscape, and Snake is sent in to save him. Why? Because who better to fix government screw-ups than a guy who actively hates everyone in government? It's like sending your ex to save your wedding. Brilliant. This film is low-budget magic. The city looks like it was lit with a flashlight and shot inside a dumpster fire. But that's part of the charm. Every villain feels like they just stepped out of a punk rock concert and into a Mad Max cosplay. And Snake? Snake says maybe 10 words the whole movie, but each one is dipped in pure cool. It's grimy, weird, and absurdly entertaining. Snake doesn't want to be your hero, and that's exactly why he is one. Time to swap out the bullets for belly laughs, but keep some car chases, because hey, it's still the 80s. Beverly Hills Cop is Eddie Murphy at his most magnetic. Axel Foley is a Detroit cop who ends up solving a murder in a place where the biggest crime is someone wearing last season's shoes. Murphy runs this movie like a one-man comedy concert with explosions. His laugh alone could interrogate suspects. Whether he's sneaking into mansions or confusing security guards with fast-talking nonsense, Foley turns every scene into gold. But don't be fooled. This movie's still got action. Shootouts, stunts, and a banana in a tailpipe that deserves its own Oscar. It's a fish-out-of-water cop flick with rhythm, swagger, and a soundtrack so catchy you'll be humming it in your sleep. Axel Foley might not punch first, but he'll talk you into submission, and that's somehow even cooler. This movie is what happens when you throw kung fu, sorcery, neon lights, and a clueless truck driver into a blender and hit insane. Kurt Russell returns as Jack Burton, a guy who thinks he's the hero, but really, he's just the loud sidekick with great hair. Jack stumbles into a supernatural gang war in Chinatown involving floating wizards, lightning fists, and immortal bad guys who dress like evil wedding planners. Does he understand any of it? Absolutely not. Does that stop him from charging in, guns blazing and slogans flying? Also, the beauty of Big Trouble in Little China is that it knows it's ridiculous, and it leans into it like a karaoke singer doing Bohemian Rhapsody. It's fast, it's furious, and it's so self-aware it practically winks at you every scene. It's not just a cult classic, it's a cult festival with confetti, fireworks, and a villain who can levitate. What more do you want? If gasoline were a religion, the Road Warrior would be the holy text. In this post-apocalyptic roller coaster, Mel Gibson returns as Mad Max, a man of few words and even fewer fucks to give. The world's a desert now, ruled by leather-clad lunatics and mullet-powered muscle cars. Max just wants to mind his business and drive in peace, but instead, he gets pulled into helping a bunch of innocent survivors who somehow built a working oil refinery while wearing shoulder pads from a 1982 football team. The final chase scene? It's a masterclass in vehicular mayhem. Trucks flip, people fly, wheels explode, and Max just keeps driving like he's late for brunch. No CGI, no nonsense, just pure adrenaline and maybe a little whiplash. It's raw, dirty, and beautiful. And it proves that if the world ends, your best bet is a sawed-off shotgun, a loyal dog, and a tank full of hope. We end the marathon not with a bang, but with a flying kick to the face. Bloodsport is the movie that introduced the world to Jean-Claude Van Damme's legs, which deserve their own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Van Damme plays Frank Dux, a real guy, allegedly, who enters the underground fighting tournament known as the Kumite. It's basically Mortal Kombat without the fatalities, unless you count shattered ribs. Each fighter is a cartoon character. There's a sumo guy, a monkey-style guy, and Bolo Yeung as the human embodiment of a brick wall. The action is sweaty, over the top, and gloriously slow-mo. Every punch sounds like someone slapping a steak, and then there's the splits. Oh, the splits. Van Damme drops into them like it's a religious ritual. For no reason, constantly, and it's amazing. This isn't just a movie. It's a high-kick love letter to 80s fight flicks. The perfect way to end a 24-hour trip through muscle, mayhem, and movies that punch first and ask questions never. And there you have it. 12 movies, 24 hours, one broken couch, and possibly mild dehydration. Was it worth it? Absolutely, because 80s action movies aren't just movies, they're cinematic protein bars, packed with drama, sweat, explosions, and just enough cheese to qualify as a snack. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go ice my brain. Let me know your favorite 80s action flick in the comments. Until next time, stay explosive.